First in high definition from the station on your side, this is WAVY News 10.
It was an unusual accident in Norfolk. It took the life of an elderly man.
79-year-old Starlin Jim Collins of Portsmouth died after he was impaled by a fence pole. 10 on your side's Ann McNamara spoke to his family tonight. Ann.
Nicole, family tells me that just behind us is where Jim Collins spent many a day doing what he loved, working at the family business. It was driving from here that he got in that terrible accident.
It's just unbelievable.
The family of 79-year-old Jim Collins remembers he always kept himself busy with labors of love.
He would build like toy boxes. When my children were all born and little, he built each one of them a toy box, and he built his grandchildren now wooden stuff.
And when Collins wasn't at work in his garage, he was at his real job in Norfolk.
He owned his own business, Dixie Equipment, over in Norfolk. He worked every day. He just loved going to work.
Every day, Collins drove his pickup truck down 27th Street to get back home. Wednesday, his routine ride came to a screeching halt. Police say Collins' truck crashed into a fence, his body impaled by one of the poles. At home, his widow waited and wondered.
The Norfolk police officers came to her door to tell her that her husband of 45 years had been killed on his way home from work that day. She was wondering where he was at 8 o'clock when he hadn't gotten home yet.
Collins' nephew writes, "My Uncle Jim was a great man, uncle, husband, and since I never had a grandfather, he was like one to me. There's a lot of things I could say about him, but most of all, he was very kind and loving." And while family members try to erase the gruesome details of his death, they remember the spirit of the man affectionately known by grandchildren, nieces, and nephews simply as Papa.
Always full of life, just enjoyed everything he did.
As you can imagine, this is especially devastating for the family because the holidays are just around the corner. I want to share something else his nephew shared with me. It's a holiday memory. He said, quote, "This whole situation is still unbelievable to me. The only thing that keeps coming to mind is years ago during Christmas, we all took a picture lying on our backs in a circle, my papa and all my cousins. I will never forget that moment. I miss him very much." That was Kyle Donker, Mr. Collins' nephew, and of course, I'm sure they'll be thinking about that this year. Reporting live, I'm Ann McNamara, 10 on your side.
And friends and family of a Chesapeake police officer will honor his memory tonight with a candlelight vigil. Officer Tim Schock was a 16-year veteran of the department and a member of the dive team for 8 years. Virginia State Police are helping determine how Officer Schock died Tuesday during training in Oak Grove Lake Park. The vigil is set for 7 tonight at St. Stephen Martyr Catholic Church on South Battlefield Boulevard. Officer Schock's wake, that's scheduled for 6 p.m. Tuesday at H.D. Oliver Funeral Home on Cedar Road, and the funeral service is Wednesday morning.
Another man admitted his role in a 2007 mob beating that killed a man in Ocean View. Raymond Ahmad pleaded guilty to murder, robbery, malicious wounding, and gun charges. He's one of 11 people charged with beating 19-year-old James Robertson to death on 16th Bay Street. Ahmad will be sentenced in April. Newport News police arrested a man they say threatened to shoot them. A police spokesperson told 10 on your side the suspect initially violated a protective order last night. Officers later spotted 46-year-old Robert Coley driving out of control. They caught up with him at his condemned home on Dahlia Court. That's when police say Coley made the threat and they called the tactical team. Officers subdued him with a beanbag shotgun and arrested him. Coley's charged with violating a protective order, trespassing, and reckless driving.
Well, it's not raining now, but that's not going to last long.
And we're in store for a change in the weather.
Chief Meteorologist Don Slater, he's the expert about this. He's in the Super Doppler 10 Weather Center. What are we looking at here, Don?
Well, we are looking at some rainfall that is going to be moving in during the evening and overnight hours, but it's not going to be as much as what we saw yesterday. We saw around half an inch at most into the area yesterday. Right now, we are seeing some scattered, very, very light showers into Southampton County, even into Suffolk and Franklin, seeing a little bit of a sprinkle every now and then. Isle of Wight County as well, but the bulk of that rain is on off to our west. We move in and show you where we are seeing the rain within our area, Southampton County, Isle of Wight County, and into the town of Suffolk as well. But again, nothing much going on right now in terms of any kind of steady rainfall. We'll see some scattered showers coming up into tomorrow morning. It's going to be surprisingly warm into tomorrow morning as well. And then during the day, December will return, and it'll happen slowly throughout the day. We'll see our temperatures drop and drop and drop and drop all day day long during the day tomorrow, and then it'll feel more like December. It won't feel like the height of winter, but again, we are feeling like December by the latter part of tomorrow. We'll tell you more about that in just a few minutes.
And there's late word tonight from Capitol Hill that an agreement to extend the payroll tax cut may be near. All day, pressure's been growing on House Republicans from the White House and Senate leaders to make this deal. Then on your side's Jennifer Johnson now has the latest from Washington.
President Obama was joined at the White House by some frustrated American workers. Among the 2,000 an hour emailing and tweeting political leaders to get the payroll tax cut extended.
On this vote,
the Senate has passed a 2-month extension, but House Republicans aren't budging.
This is an issue where an overwhelming number of people in both parties agree. Has this place become so dysfunctional that even when people agree to things, we can't do it?
The latest Republican on Republican pressure is coming from Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, urging the House to accept the Senate's 2-month plan. But the House GOP still wants to negotiate a 12-month extension.
I saw the president out yesterday doing his Christmas shopping. I saw he brought his dog with him. We're here. He could bring his dog up here. We are pet friendly.
The president says he'll work on a full-year agreement after the House passes the 2-month extension.
This is Senate Democrats, Senate Republicans, the president, and the American people saying to the House Republicans, what are you doing here?
If Speaker Boehner and his Republican colleagues don't extend the tax cut, a typical American family making $50,000 a year will lose about $40 per paycheck. An agreement has to be reached by January 1st, or over 160 million American workers will face an immediate tax increase. In Washington, Jennifer Johnson, 10 on your side.
Just days after the last American forces left Iraq, a wave of 16 bombings ripped across Baghdad today. At least 69 people died, 200 others were injured. It's the worst violence Iraq has seen in months. There was no immediate claim of responsibility for the suicide bombings, bombs attached to cars, roadside bombs, and vehicles packed with explosives.
President Obama is withdrawing 10,000 American troops from Afghanistan by the end of this year. This drawdown is the first step in the U.S. military's plan to wind down that war. The move comes a week after officials marked the end of the war in Iraq. The military says there are now 91,000 U.S. troops in Afghanistan, down from the peak of 101,000 back in June.
Coming up, 2 dogs shot and left to die in the cold, a beagle and a black lab. Are other pets at risk? The owners speak out as police search for suspects. That's new at 5:30.
And a Virginia congressman was told he can't tell his constituents Merry Christmas or Happy Hanukkah. You're going to see what he did.
A 10 on your side consumer alert. Walmart pulled a batch of baby formula from shelves. We'll tell you about the tragedy that prompted the move.
You're watching WAVY News 10 at 5 with Tom Shad, Nicole Libus, and Super Doppler 10 Chief Meteorologist Don Slater.
A 10 on your side consumer alert. Walmart pulled a batch of powdered infant formula from store shelves. Preliminary tests show a Missouri newborn who was fed the formula died from a rare bacterial infection. The rare microorganism can grow in powdered formula. That formula pooled is 12.5-ounce cans of Enfamil newborn powder with the lot number ZP1K7G on the bottom. The manufacturer says the lot tested negative for the bacteria before it was shipped. The government has not ordered a recall. Walmart says it's being cautious.
We take things like this very seriously. And in this case, we took this action out of an abundance of caution. We made a company decision to remove this product.
Customers who bought the cans can return them to Walmart for a refund or exchange.
And for the 6th time in just 2 years, Johnson & Johnson has issued a recall of Motrin pain relievers. This time it's because the pills may not dissolve and begin working as soon as intended as they approach their 3-year expiration date. That could delay pain relief. The company says it's only recalling packages from retailers, not consumers, because there's no safety concern. You'll find more information about both of these recalls on WAVY.com.
If your allergies appear to be kicking up right now, something in your living room could be to blame. Hear what could be behind your sniffles and sneezes and what you can do about it.
And what would you do if you were told that you couldn't say Merry Christmas or Happy Hanukkah? We'll show you what one of our local congressmen did, and he's telling 10 on your side's Andy Fox all about it.
Hi, I'm Karen Millette from Hampton, Virginia. Right now I'm in Seoul, Korea, working as an auditor for the Army, missing my family back at home. I just want to say happy holidays to my brother Kevin, his family, Stephanie, the kids, Alexandria and Gavin. I want you guys to know that I love you. Happy holidays.
Local Congressman Scott Ridgel gave a holiday message he's not supposed to. He often sends video messages to constituents on his Facebook page.
And this one has gone viral because of what he said. Tonight, only on 10, Congressman Ridgel tells Andy Fox what he did and why he did it.
Yeah, he is certainly making a statement, Nicole and Tom. Congressman Ridgel says that this is about principles and this is about the Constitution.
I knew it was the right thing to do.
So Congressman Scott Ridgel was determined to disobey the congressional committee that ordered no Christmas or Hanukkah greetings from the U.S. Congress.
Cannot use the phrase Merry Christmas and cannot use the phrase Happy Hanukkah is overstepping the bounds in America in this season.
What we can't say about the holidays, and it's really deflated, I think, the whole spirit of the season.
Ridgel put together this video that does what he's not supposed to do. He gives a Christmas and Hanukkah greeting.
When I meet people in the grocery store, when I see my friends and my fellow family members.
Didn't cost the taxpayer a dime to do what we were doing, and yet we were being restricted from saying Merry Christmas or Happy Hanukkah.
Congressman Ridgel pokes fun at the politically correct Capitol Hill.
It's a small example of overregulation that really permeates this institution.
The video ends with Ridgel in front of the U.S. Constitution that he says gives all people the freedom of religion.
It's good and proper and right and constitutional for me to look into the camera and say to all of our friends and family across the 2nd District and across the great Commonwealth of Virginia and the country, Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah.
This is America, and we cherish and value our right to express ourselves in our faith.
The congressman's holiday message went viral on YouTube with lots of feedback, but not from the folks in Congress who told him not to do this. For Congressman Ridgel, it comes down to this.
This, I think, is really America at its best, is the celebration and the lifting up of our faith, not the suppression of it.
And there are no words of complaint from that congressional committee that told Ridgel and other congressmen not to do this. I asked Congressman Ridgel, what about those who may be offended? And he said he's sorry if they are, but thought that he needed to make this statement, that he thought the congressional committee overstepped its bounds. I'm Andy Fox, 10 on your side.
While temperatures are warmer here in Hampton Roads, there's a winter storm warning in Denver. This is what it looked like last night. Snow and ice-covered roads are to blame in several accidents. Look at that. Truck turned over there. Up to 9 inches of snow is in the forecast by tonight.
Let's play the little game of rewind and go back 1 year. Just
oh, gosh.
A little
Do you
over
have
a
to
year.
do that?
Yeah, I mean, that was not uncommon to see in
Yeah.
Hampton Roads, and thankfully that's not going to be the case this year.
Yeah, it's not going to be the case this year. And there was some concern earlier in the week that the day after Christmas we could see the possibility of some snow into the area. There was some concern about that. Very, very little.
But some snow might be nice.
For Christmas, yes.
Yeah.
Some snow creates lots of problems here.
In this area.
Just a little bit of snow even does. So we are not looking at anything like that. But temperatures are going to settle back on down to December-like coming up over the next several days. And of course, we hit the winter solstice last night at 12:30 in the morning, so it's going to finally feel like winter time into the area. But again, we're not looking at any snow, and it's not going to be drastically colder. It's going to just drop on down to what it should be, low 50s coming up over the next several days. Now, we do have some rainfall into the region right now. We've got a front which has been just kind of wigging and wagging its way through the area, and temperatures have been up and down all day. We hit 70 earlier in the afternoon in Norfolk, and right now it's dropped back to 60. We have some scattered rainfall. You can see it into Hampton, downtown Newport News. Very, very light. You can see it moving through Suffolk as well and points westward, but this is nothing too terribly big. We're likely to see this during the evening hours. Could see a little bit more overnight, but again, the rain is not the big story. Much of this is going to be missing us. This is developed all the way on down into Texas, and it's going to move on through most of it to our north. December is returning into our forecast. That's that rain going on off to the north of our area. And here's where we are by Saturday evening at 7. We'll finally see some sunshine later on in the day on Saturday. We'll see sunshine and cloudiness. But by 7 o'clock in the evening on Saturday, you'll note this area again down into Texas developing. We were thinking that that could move on up and sock us with some snow on Monday. It does not look like it will do so. It looks like it'll sneak far enough off to the south and eastward out to sea and miss our area with any kind of moisture coming up on Monday. So December returns in our forecast in terms of temperature, but not in terms of any snowfall into the area. We've got warm conditions into the area right now, and it will actually warm back on up during the evening and overnight hours through much of the area. 2 o'clock in the morning, some rainfall into the region, 15, 20-mile-an-hour winds. It's going to warm on up. Here's where we are by 7 o'clock in the morning. It's going to start to cool down. So we'll see temperatures into the low 60s at 7 o'clock in the morning, but then they'll drop on down through the 50s during the day coming up for tomorrow. Mostly cloudy skies during the day, end the day with a light northerly wind at about 10 miles an hour, 10-mile-an-hour winds at midnight, and 5 to 10-mile-an-hour winds on Saturday morning. Now, Saturday during the day, some sunshine, some cloud cover, and we'll see a general clearing trend Saturday night, and I think Sunday is looking pretty good right now. Now, we did have some rain in there for Sunday as of yesterday, but it doesn't look so now. Here's what we've got going on for tomorrow. Again, we saw those 60-degree readings into the area, but at 3 o'clock it drops to 55. We move on into Saturday morning. It drops well on down into the low 40s, and then during the day on Saturday, doesn't get back up again. It's only around 48, 49, 50 degrees into the area. We've got cloudy skies right now. A couple of sprinkles on the peninsula. Look at our temperatures, 68 degrees at noon, then 61 at 60 at 4 o'clock in the afternoon for Norfolk. And right now it's 61, 65 at the beach, 58 degrees into Newport News, 57 Hampton, but still 66 in Chesapeake and Suffolk. And there was that high temperature for the day, 70 degrees. So we've got that front right on in over the top of our area, but that'll lift northward during the overnight hours, and temperatures will generally warm on up to around 64. Our best shot at rain comes toward dawn, and then we're done with the rain tomorrow, but we're also done with the temperatures being warm as we drop on down through the 50s for tomorrow. And then Saturday, 50 degrees for a high, 53 on Christmas Day, and I'll put that where you can see it right on, well, there we go. Put that Merry Christmas right on into there. They don't like that Santa that's going like that, passing a football present. And then temperatures remain into the low 50s coming up into next week.
I didn't say we didn't like him.
You like Santa? The countdown is on. Christmas Eve just days away, and a lot of people are keeping track of Santa. Wait till you hear how many and how all those calls into NORAD started.
So you don't like it either? Well, a lot of people don't like it. Hey, listen up, Virginia Beach. This service that you're watching right now is about to change in the coming year. Guess how much you're going to have to pay now? That story coming up.
Only Andy.
I didn't hear Santa's answer.
No, we might hear it later. A suspect driving a getaway car T-boned an innocent driver in a Jeep, and the driver survived. New at 5:30. He is out of the hospital. You're going to hear what he has to say. Santa Claus will soon be streaking across the sky in Hampton Roads.
Streaking?
Didn't mean it that way. The sleigh. All right, let's move on. Sniffling and sneezing. It might be that beautiful tree in your living room. Recent tests show a variety of mold on Christmas trees. If you and your family don't really suffer from allergies in general, you'll probably, Nicole, be okay.
Oh, let's hope so.
But the rest of us might be too late for that first one. Spray your tree with the garden hose before you bring it in. I guess you have your tree up already, so do I. Don't keep your tree too long because the molds thrive in a warm home, which means more spores in the air. And using an air purifier in the same room as a tree can help as well. Fake trees, well, they come with similar issues because storing them improperly can make them moldy and dusty.
Santa is already piling up hefty numbers on social networking sites. So the volunteer Santa trackers at NORAD are bracing for tens of thousands of calls and emails on Christmas Eve. NORAD Track Santa already has more than 754,000 likes on Facebook this year and 60,000 Twitter followers. The website has more than 2 million new visitors. NORAD Track Santa answered 80,000 phone calls last year from its operations center at Peterson Air Force Base in Colorado. Volunteers also answered 7,000 emails. The tradition started in 1955 because of a typo in a newspaper ad. Kids who thought they were calling Santa ended up talking to NORAD's predecessor. Officers on duty played along and began relaying reports on Santa's progress. You'll find a link to NORAD Track Santa and the phone number under Military News on WAVY.com. I need to give Santa a call. Now, Dasher.
I'd love to hear from you.
Yes, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, new at 5:30, will take you to the North Pole where they're getting ready to send off their most famous resident.
Santa Claus. He'll be going across the sky. There are still a lot of things that can wreak havoc on your credit score, though, from maxed out credit cards to declaring bankruptcy. Not the time of the season to talk about this, but worrying about things that have any impact at all. We're going to tell you what they are.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? How much time do we have? Who? I'm calm down.
Tis the season, folks. Many things can affect your credit score in a negative sense, like maxed out credit cards, late payments, but you might be surprised at some things that would not hurt your credit score. Here they are, like whether or not you have a job. Be careful, though, because being out of work can lead to paying bills late. It's action, folks. It also doesn't matter if your home is underwater. That's when you owe more on your mortgage than the home is worth on the market. And how much money you have in the bank or how much money you make also will not affect your credit score. Stay with us. WAVY News 10 at 5:30 starts right now.